後喉の時間です。
Hello everybody, this is Kaz. 今日はですね、また運転をしておりますけれども、ワシントン DC から I'm going back from Washington DC to Virginia right now. Today I'm going to talk about I think my own dialect in Japanese, Hiroshima Ben. 特にね、外国人の人で日本語を勉強してる人に向けてね、especially for foreign people, non-Japanese people who are studying Japanese, maybe interested in variation of dialects in Japan ね、ということでちょっとね30分ぐらい話します。I'm going to talk about probably about 30 minutes. ですね、広島県は、日本のですね、本州 the main island of Japan, and towards the western end we have a prefecture of Hiroshima, the prefecture of Hiroshima. In Japanese we say Hiroshima Ken. Ken means prefecture, and I know some native speaker friends told me, what do you mean prefecture? I know that it is not really exactly a familiar term for everybody, but we somehow use it. I don't know why. Prefecture. And in Japanese we call it ken. Okay. It's like a state almost, but it's not super big, but it is not super small. 広島県は、隣が山口県 right next to it. To the west of Hiroshima is Yamaguchi. To the west we have Okayama県. Okay. And right in front of it we have inland sea, 瀬戸内海、ね、瀬戸内海という海があります。海 means ocean. Okay. それで、たくさんの島があります。There are lots of islands that I can see from my hometown of Akitsu というんですけどね。And I grew up there, and I was there till I graduated high school. And I grew up with my grandparents at my home, so I was speaking this particularly old dialect of Hiroshima. I say old because nowadays sometimes a lot of Hiroshima Ben elements are lost among the younger generation, but I was lucky to grow up with my grandparents alive. というわけで、結構古いスタイルのね、広島弁で、育ちましたので、ちょっと例をね、I want to give some examples maybe. ちょっと例をね、挙げてみたいと思いますけども、expression wise、例えば、面倒くさい、ね、I feel lazy about it というのは、大義と言います。It's really interesting because until recently I thought somehow without thinking too much about it, 大義 means tired. I'm tired, 大義。But when I was back home last April, a couple months ago, I was talking with my cousin, and he was saying, you know, the meaning of taigi is slightly different around here. And I'm like, what? It just means I'm tired. But he insisted that taigi means feeling lazy, because you don't really say, I'm taigi after, you do a lot of work. Usually we complain before doing a lot of work. I feel like we say, I don't feel like doing it. So I think he's right. But at the same time, I feel like there's some overlap. It's like in between being tired and feeling lazy. But I think my cousin is right in the sense that taigi means feeling lazy. Yeah. I want to give you some more expressions just to give you a flavor, okay? Maybe this time, I mean, taigi is a completely different expression, right, from the Hyojungo equivalence of 疲れた、しんどい、めんどくさい. So I want to give you something that's kind of similar in Hyojungo, standard Japanese, and Hiroshima Ben. Oftentimes the ending is different. Like, だからね is like, I think in English, だからね would be therefore. Right? I think. だからね。だから、so, maybe so. In Hiroshima, we would say, jaken. I'm sorry, again, I'm giving you an expression that's completely different. I meant to give you something similar so that you can compare the two. But anyway, let me finish my explanation. Jaken ne. Okay, だからね. Jaken ne. They sound completely different maybe for you, but parts are kind of similar, related. Okay, maybe. Like, だからね, right? In Hyojingo. Da becomes, I can't say becomes, but just for the convenience of being able to explain it better, let me use this verb, becomes. Nothing becomes anything else, right? It's just how it is in Hiroshima. Okay, so da corresponds to ja. Do you see the similarity, affinity, kind of, between the two sounds? Da. Okay, ja. And the second segment of this word is kara. Da kara, kara. Okay, in Hiroshima we say ken. Okay, at least both start with K, kara and ken. Okay, and the final segment of this expression, da kara ne. Okay, ne in Hyojingo, we would say no. So they are kind of similar. Okay, jaken no. Right? But let me also add that oftentimes people from Hiroshima go to Tokyo, and then people in Tokyo kind of feel like, are you guys mad because of the way we sound? Okay, so I let you hear the difference in resonation. One would be, だからね, or だからさ, and Hiroshima would say, jaken no. Like we are like, almost like yelling, or how do you say, just like a dog or some kind of animals who are like, how can I say this? What's the word? Gruntling or something? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like with deep resonation, we say things, and sometimes we are misunderstood as if we were kind of, mad or something. Anyway, okay. Let me give you another example that's easier to compare, maybe. Okureru no would be, are you going to be late? Okureru no, right? I think in Hiroshima we would say okurerun. Okay, okureru no versus okurerun. Let me give you another example. Kiku no is like, do you listen? 例えば, for example, do you listen to rock music? In Japanese, standard Japanese would be Uroku kiku no, I think. But in Hiroshima, you would remove the ending O, so kikun. Anta ongaku kikun means that you listen to music. Okay. I just said anta, but I think correct standard expression would be anata. But we kind of say anta. Sometimes if we say it in a casual way, it kind of sounds abrasive, I think. Anta. But you can say it nicely. You can say it nicely like anta. I think I remember my aunt. My aunt, her name is Sachiko. One of my aunts. The other aunts of mine is the other aunt of mine is I'm sorry, her name slipped off my mind, but anyway, I'm gonna tell you if I remember. Okay. Anta do shoujo. What are you doing? Okay. Let's compare a progressive form of a verb, like utau means to sing in Japanese. Okay. And then if you're actually singing right now, we would say utatte iru or utatteru. That's I'm singing, utatteru. Okay. In Hiroshima, we would say it like uto otoru or Utayoru. That would be easier to compare, I think. Utayoru. Utatteru in Tokyo. Utayoru in Hiroshima, Japan. Let's pick up another one. Like right now, I am driving a car. In Tokyo, they would say 自動車を or maybe they may say 車を運転してる okay, してる like literally you are driving. In Hiroshima 運転しょるね運転しょる車を運転しょる okay, so I'll give you a pair of some verbs. First, Tokyo way, and the second Hiroshima way. Okay, let me see. I'm seeing. 見てる. Okay, 見よる. Right. What about thinking? 考えてる. 考えよる. Okay, running. 走ってる. 走りおる. All right, maybe I'm going to give you a quiz. Some of you who are really quick to kind of pick up patterns may be able to actually guess. But I think just like Japanese that you would learn in Japanese classroom, I have a feeling that there's like 3 types of verbs, and each one of them requires something like specific. You know, like in Spanish, you have a verb that ends with AR or another verb that ends with ER, and then conjugation is a little different. I think we may have something like that in Hiroshima Ben. But I'm curious if you can guess, okay? How would you say, okay, let's see. Okay. Listening. I'm listening means in Tokyo, 聞いてる. How would you say that in Hiroshima? 聞いてる. Okay. All right, I give you 3 seconds to think. 聞いてる. All right. Are you ready? The answer would be 聞いとる. Okay, 聞いとる. All right, another quiz. 何にしましょうかね. Okay. This one is difficult. I don't imagine that you can get this one right. To walk in Tokyo or Hyojingo, standard Japanese. What did I say? To walk? 歩く. Okay. What would that be? What would be the Hiroshima Ben equivalence? 歩きおる. Okay. Maybe you didn't get that one. 話す. To speak. To talk. 話す. In Hiroshima, 話しおる. Okay. All right. Let's do something else. Let's talk about some basic words such as like I, you, he, she, okay? Pronouns, okay? Watashi, okay, I, in Hiroshima would be, of course you can say watashi anywhere in Japan, but we often say washi. As I grew up, I used to call myself why. That's so different. Somehow I said it that way, and the town next to us didn't even say it that way. I think they may have just said washi. But I used to say why for the longest time till I went to high school, I think. Why? Sounds awfully like Chinese. I really think that the way we speak sounds like Chinese, actually. Yeah, okay. Okay. Watashi, okay, washi. Anata, okay, anta, okay. Kare, kare, but I mean it's the same. But I don't think we say kare at all. We usually refer to somebody by like a title or position name, like coach, kochi, senpai, like senior students. You call them senpai. Senpai ga yutota yo. Senpai was saying that. And I don't know if we would ever say karega in Hiroshima. Maybe not much. Okay. Let's do 私たち. We, right? In Hiroshima, わしら. Washira. You have to like a gruntle. I think that's the word, gruntle. That's the word that I was trying to remember. I mean, we have deep resonation in our voice. So, I mean, this generally is true with Western Japan, and which I think is why our English is better in Western Japan. If you notice. Okay. I was saying 私たち. Karera. I don't feel like we would even say that. We may say, あの人ら, those guys are, So in Hiroshima we say, わし, あんた, and I don't even know if we say 彼, 彼女, わしら. You guys is あんたら. So what are you guys doing? あんたらなんしょん? And I think, it sounds like English almost. あんたらなんしょん. It's this kind of 外国人 voice. あんたらなんしょん. What are you doing? In Tokyo, they would speak it like this. They would speak like this. あなたたち、君たち何してますか? 何をしてるんですか? So if I translate that into English, it would sound like this. What are you doing? Like high pitch. So I think that people from Hiroshima have some advantage of learning English kind of with ease, I think. Relative ease. I'm talking about relative ease compared to people who only speak Hyojin-go. Because, anyway. I think I have to finish up very soon, so I want to give you an interesting story of how I think somehow the way we say things in Hiroshima is kind of similar to the way Americans speak. And I want to give you examples from Japanese names. This is very interesting. Like my cousin's name, Akira, right? And I feel like in Hiroshima we say Akira. And American people would say Akira. Sound the same actually. But in Tokyo or in other parts of Japan, they would say Akira. See? So this really is very interesting. My sister's name, Hiroko. Okay, Hiroko. Americans say Hiroko. The intonation that you hear is identical. Hiroko. But in Tokyo they would say Hiroko. Okay. Hiroko. 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 Is this just a coincidence? Before I give you some more examples, I want to state why there is a correspondence between Hiroshima Ben and American English, or just generally in English. This comes from our book. My wife Gina and I wrote this book, Eigo Nodo, 11 years ago. And we said that to speak better English, you have to relax your throat, right? As a Japanese, we tend to speak in high pitch because our body and throat tends to kind of stay kind of stiff. So we have to really, really relax. But as I said, people in Hiroshima, did I say this, are very relaxed anyways. So we have relaxed throat to begin with. And if you say things in a relaxed throat, everything turns out to be the same, kind of intonation-wise. So I think is why names are just like the same in Hiroshima and in English. I don't know why this only applies to names, but my guess is I just thought about this while I was talking just a second ago. Why this applies only with names is because other like nouns, you really have to differentiate among like hashi and hashi. Intonation cannot be super free, because if you change a little bit, the meaning changes, right? Like a hashi is in Tokyo would be chopsticks. Hashi is a bridge. But names, I mean, it's more free. You can call it whatever you want, or it's up to how you feel about, I mean, yeah. So that's why I think with names we have more freedom to say whatever we want. So that probably is why we end up. Does this make sense to you guys? Like if it's like a noun, like hashi and hashi, you really intentionally have to differentiate the two. But with names, you have freedom. You can say whatever you want. And people in Hiroshima, because we are relaxed and our throat is relaxed, we end up saying those names exactly in the same way as English speakers would do. And English speakers' throat is really relaxed, okay? And every time I try to explain something complicated, I become a little choppy when I speak, so I have to slow down and try to relax right now. I think I have another 10 minutes, I think. So let me give you more examples of Japanese names pronounced with the same intonation pattern in Hiroshima Ben and in English. My cousin's name, his name is Satoshi. Okay, Satoshi. In English, Satoshi. The same, but in Tokyo they would say Satoshi. Okay, let me read this again. Okay, Satoshi, Satoshi, Satoshi. We in Hiroshima people say these things in the same way as Americans would do. I'm curious how British people would pronounce these names, but I bet they would say the same thing. You guys would say Satoshi, I bet. Okay, let's pick another one. This is one example where everybody would be saying the same thing, the same way. My sister's name, Yoko. And in Hiroshima, Yoko. And in English, Yoko. In Tokyo, they would say Yoko. So I guess they sound the same, right? All right, let's pick another one. My mom's name, Takako. Americans would call her Takako. In Tokyo, they would say Takako. Takako, Takako, Takako. My dad's name is Kazumi. Okay. His name in Hiroshima, we say Kazumi. In English, Kazumi. In Tokyo, Kazumi. See? This cannot be a result of complete coincidence. Oh, you know what? Like, America. Okay. My dad would say, coming from Hiroshima, I think, America. For some reason today in Hiroshima, people would say America, but my parents' generation, they would say America and America, the same intonation. And in Tokyo, they would say America, okay? America, America, and America. Again, the same. What else? What else do we have? そんな感じですかね。なんか延々とね、I can't continue forever. But yeah, this is like a linguistic universal. My theory is that喉がリラックスしてたら結局同じような発音になるということですよね。If you're relaxed, you would pronounce anything in the same way with the same intonation. And this is happening in Hiroshima or generally in western part of Japan and the rest of the world, maybe. At least the English-speaking world, I think. Which may be why. You know what's interesting? In Japan, you have to kind of memorize, like, intonation of words, which I think is not very useful because, people may say things differently. Indian English, American English, British English, people may say things differently. So I feel like you don't exactly have to memorize the exact intonation, but we have to memorize, like, for the test, like college entrance exam. Giving a word like recognize, you have to say recognize. Red part is kind of feels higher or with an accent on it. I didn't really have difficulty learning this kind of, accent-related questions for the test. ちょっとね、またsometimes I feel like I'm nervous expressing my ideas because, I'm kind of I usually don't have anything to say. That's why. But I'm forcing myself to say something, and that makes me feel a little nervous, which makes me speak a little choppy. So I have to, remind. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that to speak better English for me, I should be talking as if I'm just talking to myself. Let me be in that mode. Let me for now forget about the fact that I'm talking to you guys right now. Okay, all right. Anyways, I think that's about it. I've been speaking probably about for 20 minutes or so, and I'm gonna have to go soon. And I hope you are now interested in Hiroshima dialect, or I hope you feel fascinated about the diversity, linguistic and cultural diversity we have in Japan. よく日本は homogeneous society と言いますけども、実は if you take a look very, very closely, our dialects are different, Let me end this program with one interesting hypothesis. I feel like people living in Tokyo area, they kind of express nuance and emotional subtleties by changing the expression, literally changing the expression. In western part of Japan or in Hiroshima, we change the tone and quality of voice to change the meaning or assign different emotional subtleties. Of course, the answer is in between, I think, between these two extremes. But I think, for example, in Hiroshima, just a simple expression of what are you doing? 何しとるん? We kind of change the way we say it, but the expression can stay the same. 何しょるん? And I think in Tokyo, they may change the expression itself because their speech is kind of stiff and they cannot really change the way sounds come out. It's kind of harder if your throat is kind of stiff and rigid. In fact, I think this may be true. People who speak Tokyo speech or Hyojingo, I think they cannot laugh and speak at the same time like this, like I'm laughing and speaking at the same time. But because their throat is kind of stiff, they have to wait until they finish their sentence to laugh. Like, 今日は天気がいいんですよね。ははははは。ははははは。Like in between, I think. But in Hiroshima, こういう感じでね、笑いながら喋るよ。We laugh and speak at the same time. And I think that's what that's what people would do in English too. When I'm watching TV and when I see some Japanese characters being used for commercial films and stuff, like a samurai, I see a Japanese samurai laughing in this way. They say something blah 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 blah, and then ha 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 in between. So I think Americans or English-speaking people who know a little bit about Japanese culture know what I'm talking about. This, laughing in between kind of thing that Japanese people do. Anyways, I think that's it. I'm going to turn off my cell phone in a bit and video in a bit because I gotta go. Okay. I'm gonna end this program with some expressions. I think in Hiroshima we would say, instead of saying goodbye, sayonara, or we would say honjane. Honjane. That sounds awfully like Chinese.
英語のどまた明日